Soon enough, many carmakers will join the freshly re-established segment of compact unibody pickups. Major players like Ram and Toyota are almost ready to enter the segment, and from what we can see, they're designing vehicles to compete with the Maverick in the same areas. Subaru, on the other hand, isn't working just on a better vehicle. It's working on something different, and that's why you should stay with us and find out more about the 7 reasons why you should wait for the Subaru BRAT instead of buying a Maverick or any other small pickup. Number 7. Standard all-wheel drive and great off-road potential. If there's one thing Subaru is famous for, that would be its legendary symmetric all-wheel drive, which is widely considered one of the best all-wheel drive systems in the world. Aside from the BRZ Sports Coupe, every Subaru comes standard with this system, which ensures excellent traction on all surfaces. Logically, this would be a great advantage over competition. Just take a look at the Maverick and the Santa Cruz and you'll see that most variants feature nothing but a simple front-wheel drive setup. Even the available all-wheel drive systems are front-wheel drive biased and don't send power to the rear wheels all the time. These are decent drivetrains, though not exactly something you would expect from a vehicle with a pickup body style. On the other hand, Subaru models are built as all-wheel drive vehicles from scratch with perfectly positioned engines, equal half-axles, and great weight distribution. The power is sent to all wheels permanently, and that's why Subaru models are so popular in snowy areas and generally ensure excellent grip on slippery roads. Such a drivetrain also increases off-road potential, where you may also count on the so-called X mode, which, with the help of electronics, can tackle more demanding terrain by sending torque to wheels that need it the most. Also, most Subaru SUVs and crossovers feature higher ground clearance than their respective competitors, which is another aspect of high off-road potential. The new BRAT shouldn't be any different, and, just like the rest of the lineup, it could also come in the wilderness version, with increased ground clearance, upgraded suspension, all-terrain tires, and similar things. Number 6. Boxer engines. Besides an excellent all-wheel drive system, the second most important ingredient of every Subaru is a boxer engine. You may like them or not, but these engines are different and therefore provide unique driving experience. Many people don't like boxer engines, and that's for a good reason. They usually feature less torque compared to similarly sized inline 4s or other more common designs, and they're often thirstier than other engines. Finally, they're more complicated to work on and sometimes can end up with major failures. But all that doesn't matter for Subaru lovers because there's one significant advantage that plays an especially important role among SUVs, crossovers, and other vehicles with increased ground clearance. Yes, we're talking about the engine's position, which is significantly lower compared to classic inline 4s. For that reason, the center of gravity is significantly lower, which translates to less body roll in corners, better handling, and overall driving experience. Moreover, this even allows Subaru engineers to install softer suspensions without sacrificing athleticism all that much. If you take the Forester as an example, you can easily notice that it's more comfortable and, at the same time, more engaging to drive than most other compact SUVs, such as the Toyota RAV4 or Nissan Rogue, for example. The same thing will be in the small pickup segment. The new BRAT would offer better handling, higher comfort, and, as mentioned, superior grip compared to rivals. As for the BRAT's exact engine choice, the options are numerous, starting with the good old 2.5-liter naturally aspirated flat 4, which puts out 182 horsepower and 176 pound-feet of torque, which seems decent enough for a base engine. Some sources suggest that Subaru could use the new 1.8-liter turbo flat 4 instead, with slightly less power but significantly more torque. In numbers, that would be 175 horsepower and 221 pound-feet of torque, which looks like a perfect measure for a small pickup like this. We could imagine a high-performance version on offer as well. That model would probably rely on a 2.4-liter turbo 4 with a max output of 260 horsepower and 277 pound-feet of torque, which would slot the new BRAT between the most capable versions of the Maverick and Santa Cruz in terms of the max output. Number 5. Manual transmission. Another reason to wait for Subaru's pickup is a manual transmission, which has become pretty rare these days in the world of pickups. That doesn't have to be the case with the new BRAT. Of course, base versions will come with a CVT, but we have a good reason to believe that the manual shifter will be offered in certain versions. In that way, Subaru can take the driving experience to the next level and make this small pickup way more fun to drive than the competition, which relies either on automatic or CVT gearboxes. Unlike most other companies, Subaru still includes a manual transmission in its offer, though primarily in sports cars like the BRZ and the WRX. The latter is particularly interesting to us because it features the aforementioned 2.4-liter turbo flat 4. So in case the new BRAT comes in some performance-oriented variant with 260 horsepower, we're pretty sure it would come with a manual gearbox on offer. Number 4. Compact dimensions. As vehicles were evolving, they were getting bigger and bigger, so the word compact has a much different meaning these days than it had a few decades ago. Just look at the Maverick, which features a 121-inch wheelbase and a total length that goes all the way up to 200 inches. For average drivers, especially those that don't have much experience in pickups and ended up buying the Maverick, believe us, maneuvering these compact pickups isn't easy at all. The Subaru BRAT, on the other hand, will most likely feature notably smaller dimensions, and that should be its advantage. The exact numbers are still unavailable, but we presume that the wheelbase wouldn't go over 110 inches, while the total length would probably go around 175 to 180 inches. That's notably shorter than the Maverick, and that would make the BRAT easier to drive, especially in the urban environment. Of course, smaller dimensions are also very welcome when it comes to off-roading. Moreover, the smaller size also means less curb weight, which also leads to the conclusion that this model could be more agile than rivals, which also plays a significant role in the overall driving experience. Number 3. Flexible cargo bed. The only problem with smaller dimensions is that they inevitably lead to certain compromises, especially when it comes to cabin space and, more importantly, cargo bed length. With such modest measurements, there's no way the BRAT could offer a 4.5-foot bed like the Maverick. No, it'll be notably smaller. But Subaru may have a solution. In this segment, the catch is in flexibility, and Subaru already has what it needs to be flexible. If you remember the old Baja, you know that that pickup was equipped with a pretty interesting technical solution, where there was a tailgate that folds inward and goes down along with the rear seats. Combined with a classic bed extender, this technical solution ensured the Baja's ability to accommodate objects that are up to 7 feet long, even though the actual bed length was under 3.5 feet. Logically, the new BRAT would incorporate something similar, probably an even better technical solution that offers flexibility in an even more convenient way. Number 2. Single cab versions. Small unibody pickups aren't traditional pickups. They're rather seen as universal vehicles, practical and flexible. At the same time, they can serve as family haulers, so all of them come in a crew cab layout with the ability to accommodate adults in both rows of seats. Comfort-wise, that's great, but the number of potential buyers that would rather go for something simpler with a single row of seats and longer cargo bed isn't small at all. That's why we can find reports that suggest that the new BRAT would be offered in 2 layouts. Besides the common double cab variant, it would also be offered in a single cab layout. For farmers, contractors, or fleets, a Subaru BRAT designed like this would be a great solution, practical and affordable at the same time. Number 1. Affordable price. Small pickups are great in many ways, but the best thing is their price. Both the Maverick and Santa Cruz are way cheaper than mid-size pickups, but the BRAT could go even further in terms of affordability. This pickup will be based on the Subaru Crosstrek, which is already a pretty affordable crossover that starts around $26,000. If we consider that the Maverick is notably cheaper than its SUV siblings, Escape and Bronco Sport, the same scenario is expected in this case. Moreover, with further savings in terms of interior materials and features, this small pickup could easily come with a starting price of around $23,000 to $24,000. To remind you, the Maverick has just gotten even more expensive, and the 2024 model won't be as affordable as it used to be in the last few years. Things could go even further in case Subaru offers a regular cab version. That model would be reserved for commercial purposes, so we presume it would feature less standard equipment, a less impressive interior, and therefore an even lower price. At this moment, we won't speculate about the exact figures. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.